Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
What the fuck am I going to talk about today? I really don't know. Oh, shit. Hello, you rotten, filthy hot dogs. That's right. It's coffee and contemplation time. Step on up. I'm your host, Old Heart, aka Jared, aka call me what you want. It really doesn't matter to me. Like I said, this is another episode of the Coffee and Contemplation podcast, one of Old Heart Radio's original podcasts. We keep churning them out. I know. Every now and then, I go on these hiatuses where I just go silent for a while. And honestly, dear listener, deal with it. It is just something that is part of my being, I suppose. I go through shit, and then I don't want to do shit. You see what I'm saying? Either way, that's all. Kind of what about that last episode was. That was a catch-up episode where I just catch up on shit. That is not what's happening. No, there's no catch-up happening today. Today, really, is... What day am I recording this on? Today is the 21st. So today is actually Father's Day. Father's Day. Shout-outs to all the dads out there. No, actually, not shouting out to all the dads out there. Your dad's fucking dumb. I'm going to say that right now. Shout-outs to my dad. My dad is a very complicated person. And it's somebody I don't understand one bit sometimes, most of the time. But I feel like that's kind of like a lot of people we love the most we don't get, you know, they're kind of mysteries. Sometimes, you know, and that's the thing about close relationships. You sort of develop them as you go, you learn more as you go, and you learn about this person more deeply as you actively are involved with each other's lives. I think that's you know, I guess maybe that's more of like, you know, partnership. It's not necessarily like family relations, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not talking about my dad. I'm talking about really whatever the fuck I want to talk about this episode. It's not a catch-up episode, but it's kind of a bullshit episode. Yes, I am smoking weed. Oh, here's something fun to catch up about. Oh, fuck. An Old Heart Radio contributor, aka and founder, Jeremiah, aka Yellow Teeth, aka Toll Taker, has some new music up. Go online, go onto the SoundCloud app or whatever. Type in SoundCloud if you're using your internet and look up on SoundCloud Toll Taker, aka Future Trash. You will find some damn good music. I think he's got one track up there already. It's called Leave Me. It's fucking incredible. His scream, holy shit, dude. His scream is just as gnarly as I remember it from when we used to play in like thrash metal bands together. I'm telling you. And his music production is fucking incredible. Like, that's the thing I've always loved about Jeremiah, amongst many other things. You know, being a brother in arms and all that shit. Jeremiah has always had an uncanny knack for just making delicious music. Alright? I do not make delicious music. I make a bunch of bullshit music that sits on my computer and doesn't see the light of day because it's not good. That is very different from what Jeremiah does. Jeremiah, aka Yellow Teeth, aka Toll Taker, really, like, there's just no reason that dude has been camped on for the majority of his life. Thank God for the internet, so we can finally get ourselves out of these little like weird holes that we dig ourselves creatively, and so now we can finally like at least broadcast whatever you're making online. That was the thing about growing up. A little bit about growing up in Wenatchee, dear friends, dear hot dogs. It was a pit. A terrible, terrible pit. And I understand that some of my friends growing up, and people that still live there, people that I still love to this day, and have massive respect for to this day, had better experiences than I did in the Wenatchee Valley, aka the Wenatchee Valley, aka the Snatch. They had better experiences growing up. I did not. I did not have the same experience, and that's something important to remember with everybody, including a lot of the shit going on. Just a side note, like this is like what they talk about in terms of like understanding race-based issues. You have to understand that you are like your story is not somebody else's story, and you may be on the same planet, but you can grow up in different worlds, and that's sort of not race-wise or anything, but that like just growing up in Wenatchee, in East Wenatchee specifically, it was just like I had a different experience than other people. I really was able to come out of my shell more in high school than I had the entirety of my life up until then, and that was mainly because I finally had the means to play music. I had finally like some safe places to shout outs to all you hot dogs listening. Thank you as always. Shouts to my friends and family, especially if you're still in Wenatchee. I fucking love y'all. I respect y'all. I miss y'all. Shout outs to everybody that's out there peacefully protesting on the streets. Continue. Your voices are mighty and powerful and heard, and they will continue to be heard. It's up to all of us to be a part of any change that we want to make. Anyway, so like I said, I had different growing up times. Like when I finally in high school was able to like meet some friends, particularly my friends that surrounded like our music, our bands connected us all. Specifically, I want to start with DFR, Disconnected from Reality. That was one of the Dix Brothers bands who currently they're doing like Withering Blooms and the Vanity Gallery. I think some of the Dix, I think Elliot Dix and might be involved in that, maybe Calvin as well. It's fucking talented ass motherfuckers, like musically. But it's all of our we were all close because we all wanted to play music and wanted to be a part of a musical creation. It sounds weird, but like so we DFR helped rope a bunch of people in. I got really into DFR for a while. I would show up to their shows and fake sword fight and all this shit. Then we started branching out. Me and some of my friends Dusty and Rex. We started a band called J Schmouder El Capitan. We created and performed magic rock, as we called it. It was a mixture of basically like rock and roll, comedy, metal, thrash, whatever fucking music genre. Sometimes we just throw in. I think we had a song. I wish Jeremiah was here right now. I think we had a song called "My Life as a Scooby-Doo Villain," and there was like a random like what would you call it? It was like almost like reggae-ish. It sort of sounded like ska-ish a little bit. I don't know. It had this weird breakdown in there, or weird section in there. And anyway, so I was able to finally have like a good time and good experiences in Wenatchee. When I was able to be more mobile and away from my house. I don't mean that to sound like shitty. It just I love my family. I do. And I'm saying that right now. But my house was like a fucking creative pit. I couldn't really express the types of like things I wanted to express. I'm a very crass person, and to this day, I don't curse in front of my mother. I won't curse in front of my mom. I don't. Or I try really hard not to. I didn't really have much musical influence from my parents. I didn't really. My dad was. When we were younger, he would show us like some like horror movies and sci-fi movies, particularly while my mom wasn't home because she didn't want to be a part of that. But like when I started getting into like Kubrick and started getting into like more heavy rated R movies with like these deeper and kind of like heavy, darker themes and stuff like that, like the movies became very restrictive, and that was so strange to me. And so there was just like a lot of just like repression across the board. And so when I was finally able to be more mobile and away from the house, and like we'd go hang out at the practice spaces at my friends' houses, or we'd go, to the jam shack and just fucking like, crank out some new Schmouter tunes, like with Jay Schmouter El Capuchan, aka J-Sec, aka like the best band in the world. Definitely, like, it was fun. It was fun as fuck. One of the things I will say, if you listen to my other catch-up episode, I definitely reminisced again a lot about how drinking ruined my relationships, and that was a time though that it slowly did. I became more and more of a drunk, and sort of started developing this, like, I have to be buzzed or drunk to be creative, and then my lyrics got more sloppy, and my practicing got more sloppy, and then eventually my performing got more sloppy, and that was something I regret, but it is what it is. Again, like, growing up Wenatchee has its perks and its downsides for sure. Like I said earlier, it's you get in your own bubble. One of the great things about the internet now and having it so accessible is that so many creative people that I know personally, like really like fantastic creators in music or otherwise, they still live in that small fucking town, and that's something that's, I'm not meaning to say that, I don't say that disparagingly. I say that as like a matter of fact. Like, people don't know the level of talent just hidden within their local ranks, you know what I mean? Living over here in Olympia, Washington, it's sort of different. Like, everybody thinks that they're hot shit, and that's such a weird dynamic, especially when most of the people play shitty music. Like, that's just the truth. Most of the people over here play generic, shitty music, and it's so strange to me that this town is hailed. Olympia is hailed as like some sort of. Let me take that back. Olympia hails itself as a music town, and it really isn't. Wenatchee should be more of a music town than Olympia, because it has better music coming out of it. That being said, like I said, I just think that it's a strange dynamic to grow up and thirst for such creativity, have that for such a short period of time, and then just sort of like now I'm on my own about it, and it feels so strange. I guess I don't know what this episode was about. It was literally just me rambling. I just miss my old friends a lot these days. And they're all playing music again with each other slowly but surely. I'm so fucking jealous. But I won't move back to Wenatchee. Like I said earlier, I had a different type of growing up. I fucking hate that place. But I love the people, I guess. Or some of the people. Either way, this has been another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. Go out there and use your brains for good, because every day is a good day to ripen up that coconut. On anything, really. And, be safe, stay well, and keep your stick on the ice.